I remember when I was talking with you, I said, what is your education goal? And you keep saying that my goal is to not to educate them. If I take the educator role, if I teach them, the satisfaction is on my side. But I want them to own the satisfaction of their learners.
That's so important. If any of you have young children, watch what they do and how they learn. When they accomplish it on their own, the joy is there. When I teach them and show them and do it for them and drill them, and I'm the one that feels good, not the child. We have set up a school system that makes the system feel good about itself, but not the child most times.
That's a very, very interesting aspect. I was thinking that, parents, we're not teachers. So we always want to teach kids a lesson or teach them a life kind of thing. So is there a way we could think of let them learn rather than we teach? So that's kind of what triggered me when I was talking with you. So this is it's really not the debate of what education is right, but it's more of like as parents what we can get from all different opinions about education, right? We all know the school is important, happiness is important, both, right? So how about Susan?
Good afternoon. My name is Susan Chilvers, and I'm can you hear me now?
The microphone is off. It's turned on. Turn it off.
Hello. Oh, it's quoting. I'm Susan, and I'm the founder and director of the new school of Monmouth County, which, not wishing to age myself, but we're going into our 50th year. And it sort of happened by accident because I came from England and I was trained in London College to teach what's called British Integrated Day, which is like a project-based, hands-on, kids learn, just like Joe was saying, their own way. And one of the things I was reminiscing about the other day was the fact that our professors at the college I went to gave us projects every break, and it was always to go and watch children and see what they did and see how they played and see what they learned, and you learn so much from them. And my philosophy is very similar to Jerry's, that we do offer things, we do plan projects and offer things to kids, but if they don't want to do it, or usually they spark off and go their own way because they've got lots of ideas. But I do feel that we can share our passions with them. And one of my favorite things is that I have a tremendous passion for Shakespeare, and I have done Shakespeare type things with kids from 5 up to 14, which is the range of our school. And I don't think that many people would have come and asked me to teach them Shakespeare. But we've had so much fun doing it. And I just love to do things with kids. But I want them to play, I want them to be happy, I want them to follow their passion. And it is interesting that people are concerned about their kids going to good universities. And I recently had someone who's doing a piece on our school for the 50th and said, tell me about the kids, the successful graduates. And I said, you want to know about the people who go to the Ivy League schools, don't you, or do this or do that? I said, well, to me, success is that they are happy, that they're fulfilled in their lives, that they're not stressed. It really, really bothers me to read every week about the pressure that there is on kids, the stress, the suicide level among kids dropping, and they should be out playing. And our school doesn't have homework, we don't have tests, and our kids do fantastically. I could tell you about kids who are doing wonderfully well high up, and as far as some people think. But I can't remember his first name, but Bruni, who's a writer for the New York Times, wrote a very good book called You're Not Where You Go, and it was about all the amazing colleges that people go to because they're interested, and they're not, and how much better they often do than people who struggle to go to Ivy League schools, and then it's really not their cup of tea, you know, and they're not into it.
Yeah. So.
Oh no.
No. So this one is so loud. I know that I think the first one we went a little bit long, but I like to have this opportunity to have you guys introduce yourself. So I think by now we kind of know where they. No, but actually we heard about good school. Definitely we hear that. I mean, no matter in which camp, but then happiness, don't fall sick mentally, right? Emotionally, that's all important, right? And so for you two, I won't say, I think that question can be a little bit twisted. I mean, you can talk about what do you think that you were educated in terms of successfully, what kind of success that your parents or your system did to you that make you who you are today? If you want to say some regret, that's okay too.
We'll see how that goes. All right, so I think I have an interesting experience. So I was a school teacher. So my goal was really just to teach children academics, and then right now most schools are aware of social emotional health, so we're also teaching them social emotional skills. So when I was a teacher, my goal was to teach them academic skills and social emotional skills so that they could grow up and get into good schools, like what a lot of people have said. And then, but another part of my interesting experience that I've also taught at Columbia. And then I taught graduate students, and these students, they were considered successful. I think if our goal is to get them into good schools, and then they made it, right? They all made it into Columbia. They're in graduate school, which is even better. And so so these students are what we consider as successful in terms of how they graduate their elementary and middle and high school. However, I realized that not all of them are happy. And they are successful, not all of them. This is important. We, the society, may consider them as successful, but not everybody consider themselves as successful. And many of them continue to struggle greatly. I think you guys are aware of how many good college students, they commit suicide or struggle with mental health illness, right? So what is successful then? If we consider these kids as made it, but how come they're not happy or they don't think they're successful? I think, and then for a lot of years I kept thinking about that question, and then I think one day, I think one thing differentiate them is some students know that the college or graduate school or doctorate degree, whatever it is not their end goal, and it's not the purpose of their life. And they consider, they have a purpose in their life, they want to make a difference, then they consider college or master's or doctorate degree as a tool for them to get there. And those students who know their purpose in their lives, who see this not as an end goal, but as something they have to get there, to fulfill their life purpose, is much more successful and happy than those students who consider getting to college as their end goal.
So it's kind of interesting. You talked about there's so many people, other people think they are doing well, right? They were other people's kids, right? But internally they may not feel they do very well. Yeah, here's one. I don't know. Yeah, definitely I'm one of them. Like my friends know me. Yeah, you talk about, is that near term or long term? Is that being measured by external, or this person do have an inner drive to go somewhere? Like I've been so excited to put this together, and I've been really sloppy on my real work for the past few weeks, because this is what my passion is, right? And work is like, let me have done, I move on. Now I know what is happening, so I do not need to just be measured up by my work. So it's an interesting point.
Hi, my name's Ying Wang, and I'm very honored to be here. I'm learning so much just by listening, so I'm kind of losing track of the question at this point. I think success, right? So I think something that you said that really struck a chord with me is knowing your purpose and authenticity. I have 2 young kids. One of them is 3, the other one is 6. So for me, right now, success is when they are ready to go to bed on time. If they're eating appropriately, that I'm pretty happy that that's successful. But I've thought a lot about what I want for my kids, and I think really most importantly, I want self-awareness, authenticity, knowing yourself, knowing what you want, and having the courage to pursue those things, having resilience. When Sandra told me that in my bio I was going to be listed as a role model, 1.5 generation immigrant, I first told her, no way, please take it out. You know, I'm opposed to the idea of living up to a certain role model, both for the role model herself and for others that are expected to live up to a certain mold. That takes away that element of knowing thyself, being yourself. There are certain things that we all want for ourselves and for others, but it needs to come from within. And for me, I didn't start out as a psychiatrist. I started out as a financial analyst. I did some investment banking, and that, by conventional definition, that was somewhat successful. You know, I graduated college before I turned 21. I was making six-figure salary before I could even order a drink, you know, when we had company gatherings. But I was not happy, and I did not find that I was living a genuine life. And my self-discovery, that journey began really after I left that world and started asking what I really wanted. And if there's, you ask what in my upbringing helped me attain that, I think at the time when I realized I didn't want to continue to do investment banking, even though I told my parents this is what, despite their advice to not go into it, I told my mom, I don't think I can keep going with this anymore. And she was very supportive, even though she didn't want me to go into investment banking. But when I turned around and said, this is making me miserable, she immediately left what she was doing in China. She came and she said, let's think about what you want. Let's pursue what you need in your life. I mean, she also told me, you should have listened to me when I told you you shouldn't have done it. That was a little bit of I told you so. But I think that was helpful to have parents, support when you